Here's a question. How well do you think you leverage what happens on Sunday to help a typical parent? Think about it. Unless it's Mother's Day or Father's Day, most of what is said or programmed at the average church on a typical Sunday morning is not arranged to help parents do family better. I read a stat one day that says 1 out of 5 parents indicate the church they attend does little or nothing to help them become a better parent. Whenever I think about that stat, I wonder, what does that really mean? That 1 out of 5 churches do a better job of communicating to parents? Or does it mean that 1 out of 5 parents pay attention to what their church is actually doing? Any way you figure it, the average church can probably do a little more to partner with parents in a better way. So let's go back to the typical Sunday at your church for a minute and ask a practical question. What are some things you can do to improve Sunday so you can partner with parents in a better way? Before we answer that question, let's deal with a few realities about this next Sunday at your church. Because if you're like most churches, less than half of the parents who go to your church will actually show up this Sunday. And less than half of those parents who do show up will actually implement your plan to build faith in their own kids. And when you consider those two realities with the fact that nearly 75% of your community will never show up at church on any Sunday, then your potential to influence parents seems pretty limited. But think about it this way for a second. Most parents believe they are responsible for the spiritual growth of their own children, actually about 85%. And most parents also believe they're responsible for the moral development of their own children, about 96%. That's why what you do this Sunday can be more strategic than you think. If you just start acting like you really believe that most parents inside and outside your church want to be better parents. Most parents want a better plan. Most parents are open to anyone or any organization that will help them win as a family. And almost every parent, inside and outside the church, has one thing in common. They want to help their kids have a better future. Here are a few principles that I like to keep in the back of my mind when I'm trying to help Sunday work better for parents. One of the first things is to make this Sunday a beginning, not an end. You have to let Sunday do what Sunday does best. Act like Sunday is the first day of the week. Think about it this way. Sunday is strategically positioned in the rhythm of the week to get things started. So when it comes to synchronizing parents with what you're teaching their kids or students, use Sunday as a catalyst. Leverage Sunday to jumpstart an idea or conversation in the home. Our staff and team have debated for years how churches can leverage what happens on Sunday. Sometimes there's a temptation to try to hand parents content on Monday that would build to the following Sunday. That positions Sunday to be the end of a conversation. Our experience has taught us that it's better to think of Sunday as a catalyst. You create an experience for kids at the beginning of the week that encourage parents to continue the conversation. That way it allows you to hand off the resources or content with a quality of excellence that can ensure a better conversation in the home. There's just a certain amount of energy and influence that a Sunday has that makes it have a unique influence in every week. Sundays are designed in the rhythm of the week to be a beginning. The second thing you can do is to make this Sunday easy to repeat on Monday and the rest of the week. Sometimes as a leader, I'm concerned that we unintentionally train kids to have a Sunday faith instead of an everyday faith. Think about it this way. If all we do is ensure kids have a great conversation about God on Sunday, then over time we program them to believe that Sunday is when they should think and talk about God. So what we do is we marginalize God for one day a week instead of integrating faith into every day of the week. It's like the Sunday newspaper that used to come to my house. It was bigger than the other newspapers that came the rest of the week because there was a section on sports, a section on news, a section on lifestyles, a section with comics, and a religion section. Why? Because it was Sunday, and religion was for Sunday. Be careful that as a leader, you don't accidentally imply to families that only Sunday is for God, but instead position Sunday so that it's a reminder that God wants to have a relationship with us every day. As a church, you have the potential to empower parents to have conversations the rest of the week. If you hand parents the right tools, the right ideas, the right questions, it can make a dramatic difference at how truth is amplified and taught in the home. And one of the most strategic things you can do for every family is to repurpose core ideas or truths so they're easy to talk about at the strategic times during the week. Then there'll be a greater chance that what you say on Sunday will show up at mealtime or bedtime or drive time or in the everyday routine of life. I get to work with an amazing team of writers and producers and creatives, and we've discovered how important it is to wrestle with spiritual ideas so that we can communicate them in a way that sticks. We will spend hours simplifying and clarifying ideas for kids at different ages. It's hard to make things simple and clear. It takes time to craft something in a way that sticks in the heart and mind, but just remember this, that a well-crafted statement can make a truth more memorable. A well-crafted question can make a truth become more personal. A well-crafted activity can make a truth become more practical. By the way, this isn't a new idea. It's actually an old one. Thousands of years ago, Moses started a tradition for Jewish families when he taught parents and leaders to use the routine times of the week to teach the things that are the most important. He even suggested an interesting strategy when it comes to training kids. According to Moses, if you want key truths to stick, you should talk about them when they walk along the road, when they lie down, when they sit to eat at a meal, when they get up in the morning. I personally think that what Moses was saying was this: if you want a child to grow up with an everyday faith, then make sure you talk about truth every day. Every parent should walk away with something every Sunday that helps them have a better conversation with their kids every week. Here's something else you should do to make sure that every Sunday works for a parent. Make sure that this Sunday is an experience the entire family can share. Traditionally, many church programs are built around the idea of creating individual experiences for different age groups. On the one hand, we would say that it's important to have focused experiences that engage elementary age kids or teenagers that are different than the experiences that are designed for adults. But we've also learned there's a unique energy and influence you get when you design consistent events for parents and kids to experience together. We like to use the phrase FX a lot to describe those events. FX simply stands for family experience. More specifically, an FX is a shared family experience that engages everyone in the family at some level around some big idea. If you want a good example of how an effective FX works, watch Disney. I remember years ago when my kids were about 11, 9, and 7, and 5, watching Lion King as a family. I would laugh out loud at a Whoopi Goldberg line that one of the hyenas would say, and the humor would go right over my 5-year-old's head. And she would engage at some level or some part of the movie that she would think was funny, and I wouldn't laugh at all. And my 11-year-old son was intrigued with Scar, the villainous lion, and any part of the story that was scary. On the ride home, we had a great conversation about our favorite parts of the movie. And I remember thinking, why can't church be like that? Why can't we create the experiences like that parents and kids can share at the same time that make it easier for them to discuss and engage with each other? Depending on the age group you work with, there are a host of things that you can do weekly, monthly, or seasonally to create shared family experiences. You can post videos that happened on Sunday so parents can rewatch them with their kids. You can also leverage Sundays to promote seasonal or annual events designed for kids and parents. And you might even design a weekly or monthly FX that puts parents and kids in the same room on a consistent basis to celebrate what it means to be a family while amplifying a core truth they talked about on the way home. I met some leaders at a church a few years ago that simply arranged 10 minutes of every Sunday so the parents could actually be in the room for the last 10 minutes of the children's experience. That way, it would make it easier for them to talk about what happened on the way home. And that's one of the reasons why our team designed an app called Parent Cue, where parents can watch the same videos their kids watch at church, read the same Bible stories, and be cued throughout the week with things to talk about and activities to do together that all aligns with what they learned on Sunday. The point is, when families experience something together, it connects them to each other and to what they learn in a deeper way. Another thing you should do to make Sundays work for parents is to make this Sunday the best way to have FaceTime with parents. I mean, if parents are going to actually be there on Sunday, then take advantage of the fact that they are there by actually making a touch point with every parent. Even if you only have under a minute. Remember, it's still an opportunity to say something to each parent, to put something in the hand of each parent, and to personally connect with each parent. Those few minutes can be a critical and strategic interaction. That's why you should go ahead and decide this week before next Sunday, when you're going to have that one opportune moment, what will be the one sentence you will say to inspire every parent, to engage them with their kids? That's why you should position staff to focus on new parents who may show up. That's why you should arrange your volunteers so that small group leaders are actually free to connect with the parents of the kids who are actually in their small group. The time when parents drop off and pick up kids, in some ways, may be the most strategic time in your Sunday. So don't waste it. Use it carefully to make a connection. And here's something else. Make this Sunday a place where you remind parents why what they do matters. Most churches work hard at creating environments that engage kids and teenagers every Sunday. But have you ever stopped to think how these environments that you create can also communicate messages to parents? The decor, the posters, the messages, the videos that you have playing in your hallways can strategically emphasize what you want parents to know about your vision for their family. I recently visited a church that had taken an idea that we introduced a few years ago and leveraged it in their church. We'd encouraged parents to use a jar of marbles as a countdown clock to remind them how many weeks they had left before their kids graduated from high school. It's a simple concept. When you see how much time you have left, you get serious about the time you have now. So what this church did was amazing. They put a jar of marbles by every different age group area to remind parents who came and went about the need to make the most of their time together. It was a simple and powerful reminder to every parent to make this week matter. So remember that parents are visual too, and use things they can tangibly see to help them remember the vision you have for their kids and increase their potential to engage in your overall or your monthly strategy. Oh, and one more thing. Make sure you make this Sunday happen for families who don't come on Sunday. Don't just think about the parents who come, think about the parents who don't come. Make sure that you leverage all the work you did on Sunday so that it can be seen and heard by the parents who aren't there. It's a classic mistake to only think about those who are present. So become intentional about using Sunday's platform to build a bigger platform to engage with more parents than those who just show up. Recently, I noticed that a number of parents that I know had to miss Sunday for legitimate reasons. It was sickness or travel or work. So we decided that just because they missed Sunday shouldn't mean they would have to miss what happened on Sunday. So we started Studio 252 Live as a way to make sure that if or when parents missed, they could have an online experience with their kids at home to make sure they still connected with what we talked about on Sunday. It was our way of saying this: even when you're not here, you still matter to us. Most churches have more opportunities today than ever before to use Facebook, emails, Twitter, social media to keep families engaged with what happens on Sunday. And who knows? Along the way, you may actually inspire parents who never come one day to show up and engage with their kids in a better way at your church on Sunday. So just remember, what you do this Sunday for parents can be more important than anything else that happens in the church, even more important than what the senior pastor does on Sunday for parents. Kerry Newhoff is a senior pastor from Canada that I know that's very good at partnering with parents in the Toronto area. He had an epiphany as he was preparing to speak on one specific Sunday morning. The Saturday night before, he said he had this thought process. As I was thinking about the parents who lived in the community around our church, something dawned on me. They're not lying in bed at night wondering about the topic that I will speak about on Sunday morning. They don't even lie in bed at night worried about their relationship with God. They lie in bed worrying and thinking about their kids and their families. That's why your church is in a unique position to give the average parent hope and direction, because most parents would love to know that people other than themselves think about their families. And Sundays can be the catalyst that give most families a new beginning at every week. The power of what your church does every Sunday is that it gives a family a place it can start over and be reactivated. Think about that while you get ready for Sunday. You may be putting a large amount of time and energy into what happens every Sunday at your church. I know how it works. You're writing, creating, organizing, designing, recruiting, and building so that Sunday can be a beginning of an important cycle in the course of a week for a family. You're influencing a weekly rhythm of faith in the average family. And it's what you do every week as a leader. And sure, there are times it's going to seem routine. There are times you're going to get tired. And sometimes you feel like you're just going through the motions. And if you're honest, the closer Sunday gets, sometimes the less strength you have. But here's what you're doing. It's kind of like a yo-yo. You're putting all of your energy into the top of the loop. Sometimes you wonder if it's really worth it, but don't stop doing it. Why? Because there are parents and kids who are going to get a push in their everyday faith from you. And as they spin through this week and use up the energy that you gave them, many of them will show back up the next week because they need inspiration from you to go at it again. Think about it. A wide spectrum of parents will be coming to your church this Sunday. Parents who are wondering, parents who are wandering, parents who are worried, parents who are broken, parents who are tired, parents who are alone, parents who are hurting, parents who are hoping, and parents who are determined. Parents who are struggling to win the battle for the future and the faith of their children. And I know what you do sometimes feels like a grind, but God promises to add His power to the fuel you give every parent every Sunday. He's designed the church, your church, for people to get faith and inspiration and spiritual and emotional fuel from you and from each other. It's the potential of what happens when we gather Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. Sunday's designed to re-energize our hearts. It refuels our hope, it reactivates our families, keeps our faith alive every day and every week. So make Sunday work for every parent.